Fair use. Daily Reflections. This is a book of reflections by AA members for AA members. July 10th. Toward Peace and Serenity. When we have taken a square look at some of these defects, have discussed them with another, and have become willing to have them removed, our thinking about humility commences to have a wider meaning. 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, page 74. When situations arise which destroy my serenity, pain often motivates me to ask God for clarity in seeing my parts in the situation. Admitting my powerlessness, I humbly pray for acceptance. I try to see how my character defects contributed to the situation. Could I have been more patient? Was I intolerant? Did I insist on having my own way? Was I afraid? As my defects are revealed, I put my self-reliance aside and humbly ask God to remove my shortcomings. The situation may not change, but as I practice exercising humility, I enjoy the peace and serenity which are the natural benefits of placing my reliance in a power greater than myself. Courage to Change, One Day at a Time in Al-Anon, July 10th. As a result of our exposure to alcoholism, many of us lose perspective on who we are and what we can and cannot do. We accept ideas about our own limitations that have no basis in reality. Al-Anon helps us to sort out the truth from the falsehoods by encouraging us to take a fresh, objective look at ourselves. I had always been told that I had a weak constitution and had to avoid excitement and overexertion. Believing this, I avoided exercise, sports, certain jobs, and even dancing. Sure that my poor, weak body couldn't handle the strain. My most frequent response to any invitation was, "I can't." In Al-Anon, I realized that I had a distorted self-image. I had never thought to question my beliefs, but when I took a good look, I discovered that they were untrue. I am as fit as anyone I know. I began to wonder how many other false assumptions were limiting me. A whole new way of life opened up because I had the support and encouragement to take a fresh look at myself. Today's reminder: I won't let old limiting ideas and doubts go unchallenged. I may discover strengths and talents that never had the chance to come to light. Today, by letting go of obsolete ideas, I have an opportunity to learn something wonderful about myself. There is a quote from Richard Bach, and it reads, "Argue for your limitations, and sure enough, they're yours." Just for today, Daily Meditations for Recovering Addicts, July 10th. A positive attitude. That old nest of negativism followed me everywhere I went. Basic text, page 137. A negative attitude is the trademark of active addiction. Everything that occurred in our lives was someone or something else's fault. We had blaming others for our shortcomings down to a fine science. In recovery, one of the first things we strive to develop is a new attitude. We find that life goes a lot easier when we replace our negative thinking with positive principles. While a negative attitude dogged us in our active addiction, all too often it can follow us into the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous. How can we begin to adjust our attitudes? By altering our actions. It isn't easy, but it can be done. We can start by listening to the way we talk. Before we open our mouths, we ask ourselves some simple questions. Does what I'm going to say speak to the problem or the solution? Is what I'm going to say framed in a kind manner? Is what I have to say important, or would everyone be just as well off if I kept my mouth shut? Am I talking just to hear myself talk, or is there some purpose to my words of wisdom? Our attitudes are expressed in our actions. Often it's not what we say, but the way we say it that really matters. As we learn to speak in a more positive manner, we will notice our attitudes improving as well. Just for today, I want to be free of negativity. Today I will speak and act positively. Today, Emotions Anonymous, July 10th. Reflection for today. Emotional pain is what brought me to EA. In spite of my fear, I went to my first meeting and found I was not alone. I also found hope. I heard how others had found help through the 12 steps and through sharing with each other, and I made the commitment to give it a try. I attended weekly meetings, read the literature, and tried to work the program in my daily life. After spurts of growth and slips, I realized I was getting better. The anxiety, panic, and abnormal fears were beginning to lessen. I continue to attend meetings to maintain what I have learned and to continue to grow as a person through my faith in my higher power. When I give hope to a new member by telling my recovery story, my growth is enhanced. Meditation for today. God, help me to remember the past pain. Help me to be grateful to the program and the people who have shared their thoughts, feelings, fears, and faith with me. Let me never forget to look to you for guidance and to know you will support me. Today I will remember through pain comes growth and eventually peace and serenity. Strengthening my recovery. Meditations for adult children of alcoholics, dysfunctional families. July 10th. Codependence. As adult children from various families, we focus on ourselves for the surest results. We gradually free ourselves from codependent or addictive relationships. BRB page 60. Before we entered recovery, it seemed like our relationships were codependent or addictive. It's what we were used to. It's what we grew up with. If anyone wanted something different from us, we were uncomfortable because we didn't really understand what that something was. We could keep up the act for a short time, but the walls eventually went up. We had no role models for healthy give and take. As we learn to focus on ourselves in ACA, at first it seems awkward. Most of us are not used to taking care of ourselves emotionally. Gradually, we begin to see that we can walk away from those who still abuse us and we feel a sense of freedom that's new because we don't feel guilty. We gather strength from those who have come before us in the program. We hear how they have faced difficult changes with faith and trust in their higher power and those they share their journey with. We see the promises of this program being fulfilled in others, and we now have the courage to ask for the guidance that's available. The affirmation reads, "On this day, I release my codependent and addictive relationships in favor of those based on mutual respect. I will learn a new dance that fills me with life." Please share, subscribe, like, and most of all, be the you that you are created to be. To know that recovery is possible and that you are not alone, one day at a time.